Author CJ Sansom, writing about bullying last weekend, said his inattention at school made him the bête noire of foul-tempered, vicious masters. Today he would be diagnosed with Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, ADHD, he believes, and teachers might consider some other reason for my behavior than just being bad. But are schools any better at dealing with ADHD now? While researching an article on ADHD recently, one education psychiatrist after another supplied stories of pupils mislabeled naughty, lazy, or disruptive. A huge obstacle to progress, they argue, is the systemic cultural blindness in schools to the complexities of neurodiversity, dyspraxia, dyslexia and milder autistic spectrum disorders. With ADHD, old-fashioned discipline is often counterproductive. Shooting triggers, fight or flight, long punishments are futile for short attention spans, and threats can ignite an overdeveloped sense of injustice. One medical professor says he despairs of competitive teachers who boast in staff rooms, "Give him to me for half an hour and I'll show him." No surprise these kids end up stressed with low self-esteem. Prep schools such as Sansom's still harbor the worst offenders. Neuro-diverse kids are weeded out, rote learners prized. All that matters is exam results. Never mind that it's madness to educate children to be rote-learning robots in a world of self-learning algorithms. GCHQ has long had a neuro-diverse unit. I'm heartened to hear, on the grapevine, that some major creative companies are also looking at ways to identify talent that is unrecognized by our narrow, rigid, unimaginative education system. Surely that is the future. Macho teachers, male or female, who think their years of experience outweigh a better understanding of neurodiversity are the ones who need educating. After all, anyone who has been in this broken system for decades and not done anything to reform it is the real rotten apple in the classroom. Author Ian McEwan's disclosure that he helped his son with an essay on enduring love, and the boy got a C, reminded me of the one time I copied word for word another student's essay on the poet John Donne. He got an A and a paragraph of praise, while I got a C, with a single word, ambitious. That student went on to become a best-selling spy writer. Still, my favorite response to McEwan was on Twitter. A student who was told to write a letter home from a First World War soldier copied an actual letter from the Imperial War Museum, and got a B. So Roman Polanski is suing the Oscars Academy following his expulsion last week. He accuses the organization of hypocrisy. It awarded him Best Director for The Pianist in 2003, and has ranted against the mass hysteria of. In 1977, Polanski drugged and anally raped Samantha Geimer, 13. He fled the U.S. while awaiting sentencing. Polanski has denied multiple accusations from girls of between 10 and 15. Cate Blanchett, Getty Images. Polanski is Hollywood's Achilles heel. Cate Blanchett named her son after him. And not just Hollywood. An English actress told a friend recently that it was a different time. Everyone knew what he was like. What was the girl's family doing leaving her alone with him? The brilliant writer Robert Harris told me in an interview last year that Polanski had paid his price in one form or another. Polanski apologists seem to believe you can only admire the art if you admire the man. Do London restaurants have a staffing problem? Two colleagues in separate places report bailing after poor service. So, I call the big guns to ask. Jacob Kennedy, chef patron of Boca di Lupo, describes an acute shortage of chefs. Philip Hamilton, of Aquavit, says it's increasingly challenging to find good waiters. Why? Staff are flocking to the EU, they say, because of Brexit, because of better pay. Kennedy fears a perfect storm, restaurants with less money recruiting from a shrunken pool. This isn't about privilege, nannies and cleaners. Businesses that define London are in trouble.